Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unboxing with Paul. And today, I bring you the OnePlus Nord N100. Finally, something to keep the other brands on their toes. Let's take a look at it. Released in November 2020, this phone was just in time for the holiday season. And it is a brand that is new to Metro by T-Mobile. Not new altogether, as this company has been around in the market for about 10 years, if I am not mistaken. One thing you guys know that I appreciate, and one thing you guys know that I love, immediately right off the bat, is very, very nice packaging. You only get one shot at making the first impression, and this box definitely gets the job done. Listen to that high quality cardboard. Let's go ahead and put that aside. In the box, we seem to get a SIM card, as this is a Metro by T-Mobile phone. We also get a SIM ejector tool, and a very nice SIM ejector tool at that, not one of those twisted wire ones that we seem to get with other phones. We also get a welcome /start guide to get yourself familiarized and acquainted with the phone. We also get terms and conditions. Now, I really hope this isn't like the other phones, like the Motorola's, that have been making us pop in the SIM card so that we can continue with the activation. We're gonna go ahead and put the phone aside for right now. In the box, we also get this very nice red USB-A to USB-C charger, along with OnePlus's fast 18-watt wall adapter. I believe, yes, 9 volts at 2 amps, so that should be an 18-watt wall adapter. There we go, sir. Can you see that? There we go. Let's go ahead and put everything back inside the box. Let's put it aside. Now for the phone itself. If I'm not mistaken, OnePlus calls this icy blue. Aptly named so, as it is this frosty, like semi-glossy blue that is really, really nice. And it looks like it'll keep fingerprints at bay. However, I've touched it already. I've gotten my very sweaty hands all over it, and it will definitely pick up fingerprints. It will definitely pick up, not fingerprints, but like smudges and definitely sweat spots, sweat prints. It'll definitely pick that up. While we're back here, let's go ahead and look at our little triple camera setup. We are working with a 13 megapixel wide angle lens, a 2 megapixel macro, and a 2 megapixel depth camera, followed closely by our LED flash. Back here, we also have our fingerprint scanner, which is very nice to have. Again, today in the day and age of masks. This way, you don't need to pull your mask down. This way, you can just keep it on and go ahead and unlock it and go about your business without having to expose yourself. Let's go ahead and continue with OnePlus's terms and conditions. While we're up here at the front, let's go ahead and discuss our screen, as we are rocking a 6.52-inch 720 by 1600 IPS display that is also able to show information at a 90 hertz display rate. That's, most people don't, it's great and that's amazing, but most people don't need that. Most daily consumers are not going to be able to make use of that, although it's a very nice feature for OnePlus to offer. And also our selfie camera up here, and I'm a fan of the notch that is to the side rather than in the middle. I definitely appreciate them picking a side, because to me it's like, make up your mind, either you're to the left or to the right, down in the middle, because when you're in the middle, I feel that you take up way too much screen real estate, in my opinion. Now, once we're inside the phone, as you guys can see, it's they use a very tame, very subtle background, nothing too extravagant, nothing that's going to stick out. Even the sounds that you can hear coming out of it, the notification sounds, are not jarring. They're soft, they're gentle, they're different, completely or very, very stark contrast with something like a Motorola, which is boom, 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 very loud in your face. This is just soft. It sounds gentle. It feels like it. And even just the icons. Again, this is supposed to run Android 10.0 right out of the gate. However, OnePlus puts their user interface called Oxygen 10.0 right over this, and you can just look at it. You can just see that the icons around, everything just, I don't know, it feels calm to me. It feels soothing. I don't know why, but that's the feeling that I get being conveyed from this phone, and I like that. I really, really like that. Maybe it's because everything today is just so stressful, so high paced, so, just everything vies for your attention. Everybody's just competing for any sort of, I don't know, like, it's just, everything wants to be in your face. Everything just really wants to be there. And this phone doesn't feel like that in any way, shape, or form. Let's go ahead and continue. The user interface, again, it feels pretty nice. I don't see too many bloatware apps. I see like some OnePlus apps, but all phones have something like that. On top of that, everything's supposed to be here. It's a very, very short app list. Of course, YouTube Music, I'd rather not have that there. And again, when you turn to the left, you will see Google-related stuff. You're not going to see Bixby. You're not going to see LG Way Assistant or any other proprietary stuff like that. Of course, we do see the Metro by T-Mobile, which are the carrier-selected apps, as this is a Metro by T-Mobile phone. As I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but we are working with 64 gigabytes of storage. And as you can see immediately, 17.61 gigabytes of that are used up by the system and by other system files. In addition to those 64 gigabytes, that is paired to 4 gigabytes of RAM, short-term memory, and we have an octa-core processor with the usual 4 power cores clocked in at 1.8 gigahertz for those heavier, more power-intensive, power-hungry tasks. And the other half are those 4 efficiency cores clocked in at 1.6 gigahertz for, lighter day-to-day tasks, for more efficiency, and to keep the phone cooler, and of course, improve battery life. On the left side of the phone, we get our SIM/SD card tray, closely followed by our volume rocker. And I have to say, this phone just feels really nice. It feels really smooth. It feels like frosted glass, even though I know it's not. At the very top of the phone, they're keeping it clean with only a pinhole microphone. On the right side of the phone, we get only our power button. Even though it is not textured, that is okay, as it is the only one on this side. Now, at the very bottom of the phone, we have what appears to be 2 little speaker grills, our USB-C port for charging and data transfer, as well as another pinhole microphone. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a headphone jack. Something that is a big deal because a lot of the companies feel it necessary to remove it so they can sell you dongles on the side. That is not the case here. So, as mentioned before, this phone does allow for a 90 hertz display refresh rate. So let's go ahead and look at our settings for the display. And if we go to advanced, we can clearly see right here that our refresh rate is automatically set for 90 hertz. For ultra smooth, at an ultra high refresh rate, and for 60 hertz, less smooth, but that will improve battery life. In addition to that, it allows us to have the ambient display, which I have already enabled. Now, this is something I have previously only seen in much higher end phones or in Motorola. So that means that when you tilt up the phone, only the pixels that are actually being used light up. So that means that everything else will stay dark. That means that it's not going to bother you. It's not going to blind you if you pick it up in the middle of the night. We've all been there when we're just trying to see, hey, what time is it? And we just go ahead and pick up our phones and just, it blinds the heck out of us in the middle of the night because we're asleep and our eyes haven't adjusted to all that light yet. So let's go ahead and find out how our camera performs. So these are the various modes that we have. We do have HDR auto that is automatically enabled. We have video, we have obviously photo, and we do have a portrait mode that allows us to take pictures in portrait with a blurred background. Take a picture. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to take some video in this. So then this is what our selfie camera looks like on the OnePlus N100, which is, it's not bad. It actually looks pretty good. But again, the lighting in here is great. But then this is what video looks and sounds like with the front-facing camera on the Nord N100 Plus. It's a camera. It's okay. I wish it did better. So then this is what video looks and sounds like on the main camera of the OnePlus N100. Let's go ahead and see how well it zooms. Can we see the mirror? Can we see it? Just barely. It's a phone. It does its job. I don't know why it was. I guess because the N10 did so well, I was expecting this to do just as well, but I don't know. I'm just a little tiny bit disappointed with the camera. Again, maybe because the N10 just did so much better. I was just expecting a lot of this, but it's okay. It's still an adequate phone. It's still pretty nice. And also video looks different once you're playing it back on a different screen rather than playing it back from your phone. I know sometimes phones don't have the highest resolution rate, like this one in particular. So now let's go and see what video playback looks and sounds like when we're just browsing, about YouTube. We're going to turn up the quality a lot higher so that we can see if it looks any better. Okay, well, that's really nice. We have dual speakers. We have a speaker down here and we have a speaker up here. I'm in love with that. I'm in love with having dual speakers. This phone is immediately forgiven. And the screen resolution it's not too bad. It's not too shabby. I've definitely seen worse. And the sound, it's a little on the tinny side, but that's okay. For dual speakers, I'm okay. I'm willing to forgive it. Then we are going to plug this in. Set it to the off position. Plug that in. Yeah, this does well. This is adequate for YouTube viewing.
Power it on.
We'll definitely use it again.
Awesome.
Nice. It's a little loud side. Yeah. Oh, as always, I don't know why I always almost always forget or nearly forget to run Geekbench for you guys. Maybe it's because like I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna run Geekbench for you guys. As you know, we're gonna go over again one more time. We are rocking 4 cores at 1.1 gigahertz for those lighter everyday tasks, and the other 4 are our power cores clocked in at 1.8 gigahertz for, again, those heavier, more power intensive tasks. Let's go ahead and run our CPU benchmark, and I will be back with you guys as soon as this is over. Okay, and we are back. Our Geekbench test is finally done. We seem to be rocking a 254 score for the single core. Now, that's a really nice score, or at least compared to other phones in this budget and price range. I believe the Galaxy A21 was running about 180 something. So 254 is not bad. Now for the multi-score, we got a 1202. Let's go ahead and see how that compares with other devices that happen to be flagship devices. Go ahead and down all the way to the bottom. 307 versus 254. So we're trailing behind, like the best phones. But again, these are flagship devices. The Samsung Galaxy S8 has a whopping 356 on the single core. Meanwhile, we have a 254 that may be 3.5 years old, 4 at this point. However, it was a flagship device when it first released. Now, as far as our multi-core score, we have a 1202 on the multi-score. Compared to the current flagship OnePlus 8 at 3272, we're a third there and about a third of the price, so that seems accurate. Now let's go ahead and compare it to the Samsung Galaxy S8. Now there is where we're making up some ground. That comes in at 426 versus our 1202. Not terribly bad, but again, that phone is pretty old at this point. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. And as always, if there's other phones you'd like for me to cover, other topics you'd like for me to talk about, or just, I don't know, suggestions, anything, go ahead and leave me a comment. And as always, thanks for watching.